Okay, so here's my blue-black control deck, um, which I think is just a really fun deck, even though people playing against it might not agree. um, but okay, so make the image bigger. So this is like a really this deck has like a lot of one-ofs and such. Uh, so I mean, I don't know if this is like the best build in the world or whatnot. I spent a lot of time thinking about it, and I think it's pretty good. But without knowing what um, like the hive mind will come up with for like a truly rigorous metagame. It's hard to know exactly what a control deck should look like, but considering like the other decks that I've played against and that I've built, um, it seems like you really need to stop like goblins and merfolk and white weenie and stuff like that, um, elves, um, and other than that, you need to there's just being able to counterspell things is generally a good way to approach any format. So I don't know. Some of the choices I've made maybe are more like just out of my personal love for the cards, or than them being the very best cards. But I built this deck to be competitive, and it works pretty well. So we've got one Dreadship Reef, in case we want to build up mana. Um, we're running 7 islands, one Magosi, the Water Veil, because sometimes it's just good to be able to skip your next turn at the end of their turn and then take 2 in a row. Oboro, Palace in the Clouds, so, seems good as a one of. If you want to return it to your hand to mill it away with Compulsion, or to get triple blue or double blue or whatever during your main phase, it can be worthwhile. 4 Swamps, 2 Grixis Panorama. You kind of have to scrounge for lands, because like all the blue-black lands are banned because they're all worth too much. They're all worth like 12 cents as uncommons and 8 cents as commons, so they're banned, right? But Panorama's fine, and the deck usually does okay on mana. 1 Polluted Mire, 1 Remote Isle, 4 Terramorphic Expanse, which is a fine card because you're stacking your library a lot. Might as well be able to shuffle your deck, right? So as a one-of, we've got Mystic Speculation, Scry 3, which goes with Conundrum Sphinx and Darksteel Pendant. So you can get rid of what you don't want and put what you do want on top. Just do it over and over again. Let's see. You can see how, and then you can see 3 cards deep, and if you can scry them all away, I suppose. But you could also always shuffle to get a new 3. Let's see. You can take the best out of Diabolic Vision and then scry away the other 3. There's just a lot of interactions that work well with that. Or scry 3, take the best one, and then shuffle your deck with Terramorphic Expanse, right? So you got 3/4 spikes, which are good against the aggro decks, and just a lot of things. And there's plenty of ways to get rid of it later, so no big deal. Piracy Charm is actually like really good. It's 1 damage against the 1 toughness creatures like Llanowar Elves and goblins and merfolk and stuff like that. And then you can always just make them discard a card with it. And then once again you can just shuffle it away if it's not good. So you also have 4 Dimir Signets for mana. You have Diabolic Vision, which is pretty insane. You get 5 cards deep, and then you get to put 1 in your hand and then stack the rest. So you can Diabolic Vision with Conundrum Sphinx again. Into the Royals, a one of. Get rid of something, then counterspell it, or whatever you need to do with it. Muddle the Mixture, so you can search for things, and just as a solid card. 2 Compulsion, does really well with Death of a Thousand Stings. You discard Death of a Thousand Stings, draw a card, then return Death of a Thousand Stings because you have more cards in hand than them, and then keep doing it. So that's pretty dumb. Declaration of Naught is a 1-of. You just figure out a card that you don't want them to cast, and then you drop it, and then basically you just have 1 blue open for the rest of the game, and it's like Meddling Mage except it's on one-sided. 2 Consult the Necrosages, which lets you do either Counsel the Soratami or Mind Rot, so pretty good. Same casting cost, but you have the option. 2 Expunge, because sometimes you need to get rid of things to get through. And then that has cycling, so that's always nice. Fairy Trickery. The fairies doesn't really work in the format because all the relevant fairies are banned. So it's basically just straight up better than cancel. Remove target spell from the game. You don't want too many of these 3 casting cost spells because it's a fast format. Conundrum Sphinx being worth only 20 cents is pretty sick. So it's legal. For a 4/4 flyer, that is just generally insane. Like, them being able to name a card is actually, I think, a disadvantage for them most of the time, because like they're going to name one of their basic lands, right? And you know, if they get their basic land, that's good for them. But if they reveal anything else, then it's not that basic land, and then that got shuffled away. So, you know, you're basically taking a relevant spell off the top of the deck every turn, and then you can set up your deck with Darksteel Pendant, or Speculation, or Diabolic Vision, you know, any number of the cards. Ponder. Oh yeah, 2 Ponders. You know, and so basically you're usually able to know what's up there, so that's always nice. A Singleton Haunting Echoes is a good way to just end a game, give you that inevitability. Sphinx of Lost Truths is always just really good. Once again, no reason why that should be worth 12 cents or whatever it is, but it is. Same thing with Drayna. Just you can drop it and then start killing their guys end step, and it's a win condition. Opportunity, because it's an instant and it draws you 4 cards. Just lets you refill late. Rexiel the Risen Deep, because he's huge and it's pretty sick. 5/8 Island Walk, Swamp Walk that lets you cast their spells for free. I mean, what's not to like? And he only costs 60 cents, right? So it's because he never found a home. We've got Spellburst as a 1-of. So in the late game, if we have a lot of mana, we can just counter everything infinitely. 2 Power Sinks, because you need something to counter their spells, you know, turn 2. And then, I mean, it scales up and you can use it throughout the game. 1 Logic Knot, because we're going to fill up our graveyard, and, you know, so it'll just be like straight up counter spell at some point. And even turn 2, you go Ponder turn 1, Logic Knot turn 2 for 1. You know, it's not like, it's irrelevant. And I have a foil one, so hey, why not, right? So that's the main deck. The sideboard, we've got 2 Spell Pierce, because it's good. You know, a lot of things dedicated to getting rid of creatures. So Wretched Banquet, Marsh Casualties. Oh, we had a Marsh Casualties in the main deck too. So you can search for it with Muddle, and sometimes it'll just blow them out. And it's just nice to be able to get rid of a lot of things with 1 card later. 3 Agony Warps, because, you know, it's good at killing one thing and then preventing the damage from another. Doomblade. 2 Flash Freeze, 2 Negate. Another Declaration of Naught, because it's just good in some matchups. Douse, because, you know, getting this online mid to late game, pretty much game over for them. You don't want too many Douses though, because, you know what, you're not going to win the game by just like casting Douse turn 3 and then holding up your counter spells against red decks. So, you know, Keening Stone is an alternate win condition, so if they have like a lot of creature removal, or for some reason you really want to board in a lot of cards but you don't want to board anything out, You just board out all your creatures and board in Keating Stone, and then you just have that win condition. You just look for it, and then you just kill them with that, especially if they have no way to kill it. So that's that deck. I'll come back in a second and do some practice games with it, see how it draws.